Hello, I'm Randy Wolgemuth, and I'm glad you tuned in to watch this podcast. I'm going to walk through some of the most powerful frameworks I've used to build stronger teams, manage my time more efficiently, and grow both personally and professionally. These tools have been tested in the real world, and whether you lead a company, a team, or just want to get better at leading yourself, this is for you. Today we're going to cover 4 tools. One is DISC, personality, and I'll get into details on that. Working Genius, or 6 types of working genius, the 90-day plan that I use for myself and some of my clients use. And then we're going to cover some of Maxwell's laws from his 15 invaluable laws of growth. So first off, let's talk about DISC, a personality survey that many people are familiar with. It's really about knowing yourself better and others around you. And it's really good if you have a team that everybody takes this personality survey and you can learn about each other and how you sort of function. And it's really, end of the day, it's to understand your behavioral style and the styles of people you work with. When you understand how someone is wired, you can communicate more effectively, reduce tension, and play to their strengths. So a quick overview. D stands for dominance or driver, which is results driven, confident, and direct. And then the next one is I, influence. This is where people are more, let's say, people-oriented, more enthusiastic, more pervasive, a little more, out there. And they're very talkative people usually, very nice people. There's nothing wrong with them. Actually, I want to say, it doesn't matter what your personality comes out at, it's fine. There's no wrong or right. So then the next one is S, which is steadiness, or sometimes some people call it safe. They're calm, they're dependable, they're very good listeners, very, very nice people to have around. And then there's number C, which is conscientious. They would be more detail-oriented, analytical, precise. They often like numbers, but not necessarily. But they like detail and have everything properly organized. So and they're all really good characteristics. And so really when you do your DISC personality, it's kind of like emotional intelligence gathering is what some people call it. And anyway, I think that it's good for everyone to do it. So just to review, you have D, which we call dominance or driver, results driven, confident, and direct. They can be sometimes a bit rude. I'm a very, very high D, and I really have to work on myself to keep that, I would call the rudeness and directness to eliminate if possible, but it isn't always possible. But anyway, work on that. I, influence, that's more people-oriented, more enthusiastic, and quite talkative usually. And then S, like I said, steadiness. They're very calm, dependable, good listeners. And then C, very conscientious, detail-oriented, analytical, and precise. And then what happens is some people are a combination of two. So you might be a DI or you might be an SD or SC. That just means that one of them is a little more dominant than the other, but you're not just one, which I said before in my case, I'm just a D and I got no other none of the others. Anyway, it's a really cool personality thing that you can do. And then I want to switch to the 6 types of working genius. I came across this a couple of years ago. It's a Patrick Lencioni program that he came out with, and it's a real game changer for team alignment. And here's the core idea: we all have 2 working geniuses, 2 competencies, and 2 frustrations. So out of the 6, the 2 of them are going to be your working genius. 2 of them you're going to be competent, but eventually they'll drag the energy out of you. And then frustration is exactly that. They frustrate you. They just suck the energy out of you. So the 6 types are wonder, always asking, could there be a better way? It's kind of like I say someone's sitting looking out the window and just wondering what's going on. Bit of a daydreamer, but not really. It's really, is there a better way of doing things? And then number 2 is called discernment, intuitive judgment, and insight. They're really good at getting the information and using their intuition and their insight in making a decision or helping make a decision. Then there's galvanizing, getting people moving. They love to get people excited and encourage them to get going, get stuff done, and then just letting people go. They're really good. It'd be like a good coach or a good team leader, someone who can get people excited about getting stuff done. And then enablement. These are really good people at helping others succeed. They're very willing to help. They're really very willing to support the people they're working with. And again, very nice key trait to have. Now, when I say that, anyone can be and have enablement. It's just that when you have that as your genius, you're usually very good at it, and you get actually energy from doing it. Tenacity. Okay, that's driving things to completion, actually finishing a project. Again, a very good thing to have. And if you can actually have tenacity and enjoy getting things done and derive energy from it, it's cool. And then the last one is invention. This is creating new ideas and solutions. People like this, they like to come up with new things, how to do things differently, how to do things better. It's a very valuable thing to know. And so I just want to clarify again, it doesn't matter which ones are your geniuses. The ones that are your geniuses, you'll derive energy from doing. Your competencies will be those that you can do quite well, but they will eventually suck the energy out of you. And then the frustrations will seriously suck out the energy and have you frustrated. So in my case, I'm an invention, and I'm a galvanizer, and my competencies are wonder and discernment, and then my frustrations are enablement and tenacity. So I'm well aware of it, and but it helps me, when I'm not getting something done. It's not an excuse, but okay, I don't have tenacity. I need to put a little extra effort in getting this done, because this is what I need to do. Sometimes I can delegate it out, and I love doing that if I can, but not everything can be delegated out. So again, you can build an excellent team using the DISC personality and this working genius. And I have a team map that I use for clients, and we fill them all in, and then you can see at a glance where everyone's at. And I've seen businesses where they said, okay, you're really good at wonder, so we'll make you the wonder boy. But it's really good to see who's good at what and where they get energy from. And it's a really good team building exercise as well if you do it all together at the same time. Okay, number 3. I call this the Sunrise 90-Day Plan. And what I do with this is it's kind of like protecting my time, using my time efficiently, and enjoying what I'm doing with the time that I have. And we only have 24 hours a day. That's all we have, and that's what we got to work with. And then we usually sleep 7 or 8 hours a night, so then there's a little bit less than 24. Anyway, so time and priority management, it's one of the hardest things to do for leaders. And I got tired of being busy and not productive, and so I use my 90-day plan. I use it very diligently, and I learned this in the 90s from the strategic coach program I was with. And so here's how it works. Start with a vision, like what matters most this year. Break it down into quarterly priorities. And in my case, what I do is every 90 days, and I start in end of December, I do my plan for the year. Then I do, okay, what do I want to accomplish in the first 90 days, January, February, March. I write those all down. And then I have a day timer that I use. I have this whole program actually is also on online now under Monday.com if anyone wants to use it. But I have weekly objectives and daily objectives. What do I want to get done today? I write it down, and I have a calendar, a 30-day calendar. Well, I have a calendar for the whole year, And as I make appointments, I mark them on my calendar. I have reminders, but it's really important. So the 90-day plan, I think is huge. It's, I can have a 12-month goal, but it's kind of, it kind of loses priority because, well, I got 12 months to do it, but really I don't. I've got 90 days to get things done so that I can end up after 4 quarters have that yearly goal accomplished. So it's very important to me. So then what I do is I have different types of days. And so I call it admin day when I do kind of, some call paperwork, but administrative type stuff. Typically my admin days are Mondays and Fridays. So what I'm doing is I'm lining up my week. I'm lining up appointments. I line up appointments during the week too, but kind of focus on getting organized on Monday for the rest of the week, and then also on Friday. And then typically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are my money-making days. And what I wanted to do on those days is, what does Randy do that will make him income, make money? Activities that'll make me money. So when I'm, whatever, shuffling paper, that's not an activity that makes money. But also money-making activities are usually, they you need energy for them. So I don't do it 5 days a week. I can't. I can't handle it because I'm on my Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm very focused on getting my priorities done and accomplished. And it takes energy and effort. And so that's kind of do it. Now, every week is different, can be different. And I usually plan out my month ahead of time. Usually already. So for like now I'm in June. June, July, August, anyway, or September, whatever it is, I'm planning out, usually 90 days out. And then I also plot the days. And then also the most important day actually is your free days. The day off from work, away from work, 24 hours at work. It's really hard to do for an entrepreneur, especially a workaholic, which I am. But it's very important. And I want to explain why the free day is so important. Most of us are not doing very much physical work. There's still some physical work, but even on a manufacturing line, there's robots, there's whatever, right? But anyway, for those of you that are watching this, you're probably in some kind of ownership role or management role, and you're not doing much physical work, but you're using your brain all the time. You have to rest your brain if you want to be productive and creative. And Dan Sullivan has been preaching this for 50 years, I think now. But resting your brain, and if you think back, back in the early 1900s, people were farming and manufacturing. It was very physical. People were getting lots of exercise. But as time changed, now we're in the 2025 or 26, whatever. And so it's resting your brain. So really, this is a crazy notion, but most of you will maybe understand, or maybe you'll grudgingly agree. But if you take some time off, you get rested up. When you get back to work, you're actually energized and excited to do what you want to do. So it's very important. So you have your admin days, basically getting organized, doing whatever. In my case, because I'm a workaholic, I've given myself permission that on my admin days, whatever I accomplish is a bonus. And so really what happens sometimes, I get more done on those days than I'm expecting because I put no pressure on myself. I just go, right? I don't necessarily go hard, but I just go, and it's amazing what I can get done. So that's admin day, money-making days, money-making activities. Okay, that's days when I want to focus on doing things that are going to help me make money. And then the free days. Now, the admin days, they can be whatever, 8, 9, 10 hours, whatever you work. I want to say, though, on the money-making days, what your goal there is that 80% of your time that day. So let's say you've blocked off 8 hours or 10, whatever time you blocked off. Let's say you block off 10 hours. As long as you get 8 hours of money-making activities, that's fine. You don't need to go 100%. Just try and go 80%. It's really, really good. And if 8-hour day, then go 6 hours, whatever works out, right? So anyway, I really like this system. I've been using it for a long, long time, and it really helps me with my time and my priority and family time. I put it in my calendar, and I'm very, very guarded on protecting the time that I want to spend with the ones that I really love. Okay, then number 4, the last one here we're going to cover today is some of John Maxwell's 15 invaluable laws of growth. I'm going to touch on 4 of them here. These are very key. They're all important, but the key ones here are the law of intentionality. So growth doesn't happen by accident. You have to plan for it. And that's when you talk about this 90-day plan. I mean, it's an intentional plan, and it's not like I achieve everything that I write down that I want to, but I achieve a lot of what I write down or what I track. But you got to be intentional. So you get up in the morning. I already know a day ahead. I often know a week ahead what each day is going to bring. Well, not not the result, but what's planned on my agenda. But get up and I'm intentional in whatever that day is, right? So being intentional. And I say this to everybody. If you're not intentional, the rest of the laws don't matter. The rest of it's pointless to have goals and visions and dreams if you're not going to be intentional. So intentionality is number one. I think it's very, very important that you recognize that and you put that in your plan and in your life, and you work on that, and you continually remember to be intentional. Then the law of the mirror. So you have to value yourself before you can add value to others. And looking at yourself honestly and saying, okay, I'm doing okay here. I'm doing great here. I'm not doing very good here at all. Okay, you know what? But I'm gonna tweak this a little bit, and that's going to be good. And so you're valuing yourself, and when you value yourself, I'm not talking about bragging. I'm talking about valuing yourself and what you bring to the table. You can add value to others. And at the end of the day, that's what you want to do. You want to add value to others. It doesn't matter if it's your spouse, your kids, or grandkids, if you have any, or coworkers, or team members, or partners, or anyone that can be a total stranger. You can add value to them by just giving them a smile or being friendly or appreciating the service that you get. Okay, then law of the rubber band. Growth only happens when you're stretched. No tension, no growth. I really like this one too. I really like to stretch myself. I mean, I get uncomfortable with situations just like anyone else, but then I remind myself, well, Randy, if you didn't have these situations, you would be bored. Yeah, you need to have challenging situations, but positive challenging changes, positive challenging opportunities, but you're stretching yourself, right? And so when you step out there and you don't know what's going to happen, you don't know what the result will be, you're stretching yourself, and then you'll find out, oh, this is really good. I'm growing in this, or you know what? This isn't working the way I think it should. We're going to tweak it, or maybe we'll drop it, right? But you're stretching yourself, the law of the rubber band. Then the law of consistency, very critical. It's kind of like intentional and then being consistent. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. And that's where this being consistent is very, very important. And when you have this certain personality, this certain way of doing things, and you're doing it continually, people will learn about you and they'll trust you and what you're doing and the way you're doing it, and you're being consistent. That's going to be huge. It brings value to others, and people will bring value to you because they can rely on you. They know you're consistent. And I think that this consistency, and it's not just a 1 week or 1 month or 90-day plan. This is a lifetime project that you're working on, or achievement, being consistent. And it's like I write down my goals twice a day, usually once in the morning and once in the evening. I've got like 7 huge goals for the year. And then I have a whole bunch of goals in my 90-day plan, right? But I'm consistent. I write them down Monday to Friday, twice a day, and then the weekend I do twice on the weekend, once Saturday, once Sunday, or 2 in one day. Anyway, but it's like that. And yes, they're memorized by now, no problem. And I start them in. Again, I'm doing this planning in the last week of December. But anyway, you want to be consistent. It's going to help you. It'll make you comfortable, even though you may be an adventuresome person and you love trying different things. But there's the core of you that's being consistent, which is good for yourself and it's good for those around you. So law of intentionality, being intentional, the law of the mirror, looking at yourself and evaluating things, the law of the rubber band, stretch yourself. And I don't care how young or old you are, keep stretching. Whatever it is, wherever you're at, look at stretching yourself, do something different you've never done before, maybe take a different training course or whatever. Law of consistency, again, be consistent with whatever you do. Discipline keeps you going. So anyway, I would challenge you to take a few of these laws and maybe start working on them and see how they can help you get to the next level. So we talked about DISC, which is understanding yourself and other people. The working genius, which again understanding yourself and what you're good at and what you enjoy doing. But again, it's for aligning teams. And then 90-day plan is very much focused for managing your time and staying focused. And then Maxwell's laws for intentional growth, right? So anyway, that's what I want to talk about today. If you're interested in hearing any more about this or joining one of my Sunrise Masterminds, feel free to reach out, call, text, whatever, 204-782-3000, anytime. And I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching.